So I think I'm going to talk about creativity. All right. Creativity. All right, so I'm going to start with cars. and why, how does a car connect to creativity? Well, there's plenty of ways. But in terms of how it connects to my manifestation of my curiosity, and my creativity and my playfulness, I think playfulness is the access point here. Because the ability to control one's movement through mechanical means, through a highly refined, sensitive expression of creative design, it provides a feeling that I think is quite unique in human history. And it's a complicated thing. The ability to travel under one's own power, especially these days with absurd amounts of power, you know, that can kind of get in you and take over. And it sort of validate all these feelings of sovereignty and power and control. So I think these personal transportation units that we've been indulging in for the last 100 years or so are so connected to so much of what's going on in the world, and also connected to the sort of American hegemony of this idea that we get to have this type of a thing, and just historically it's just such an anomaly. Of course, you know, this is history playing out, so it's part of the natural evolution of things, but for me, the part of what a car is and can be that elicits the creative space is the human element that has somehow been manifested in these things, these mechanical contraptions that have been so beautifully engineered and designed over you know, the last 100 years of technological advancement. And you can feel it when you drive something that someone who really had a deep appreciation for the experience, when they were involved, you can really feel it. This is what motoring journalists pursue, is the car that gives them that feeling. And just a quick commentary on current cars in the world. For one thing, they're absurdly expensive, and for another thing, I mean, you see a lot of journalists right now talking about how sad the game is. Like, there's not many new cars that people who desire an experience are excited about. They're just not, it's not part of the car world, right? It's a complicated situation, and I think Harry Metcalf did a nice job talking about it on Harry's Garage, which is a fantastic car channel. Anyway, I'm not getting into that. I'm getting into that feeling of joy that that's available in a machine that's really enables this sort of dancing spirit. For me, it's kind of a 4-year-old who's really, I have a 4-year-old grandson right now, who's really, his only mission is to play, and do things. You know, we go hang out with him, and he, all right, we're gonna play this now. Okay, now we're gonna play that. Now we're gonna play this, and we got to play that. And I mean, it's just relentless, and you know, the feeling of sort of joyous freedom you can get from a mechanical contraption, in this case a car, just really activates that part of me, and it gives him a lot of validation. So, so that playful spirit is so much a part of how I have come to understand creative source for myself. That 4-year-old who just wants to play and explore and make things. He wants to make things. Especially after he's a bit older at this point, but he hangs out with his grandfather who was a machinist. And his grandfather, in a little tiny shop in the bottom of his garage, turns an old metal bed frame into a go-kart. And then my cousin drove it into the lake because we didn't have brakes on it yet, so then he put brakes on it. Absolutely fundamentally shifting experience for that young child, who was still wrestling with how do I keep this 4-year-old energy in this 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old, changing body, and especially the society where, at that age, you don't even know there's another world out there. It's just you in this space that's just epistemically closed. You don't, how can you know any different? You can't. So, the multitude of ways the world tells you no, start changing how you interface with the world, conditioning. So that spirit, and then seeing creation manifest in front of my face, and then being able to play with said creation, which, perhaps not ironically, had 4 wheels on it and a steering wheel, a steering lever, let's call it. Gosh, I wish I could find a picture of that thing. Maybe my cousin has one. So that joyful child, that curious child, is the kind of the access point. So anytime I can, let's call it, validate him, affirm his energy, no matter what it is. He gets pissed off when he gets denied, and there's a lot of rage that he's capable of tantruming about the place, and that's when things make you reactive, is when this stuff is caught, in your being. So what does this have to do with creativity? Well, it has to do everything with creativity, because I like to think about creativity as, manifestation of authentic self in the moment and of the moment, which really requires a dismissal of ego and shoulds and judgments and so many other things that we use to sort of define our space in the world from a functional perspective, which is not a creative space. Okay. For me, creativity is about emptying out as much as I can of the noise. It starts with silence, okay? And how do you find silence? Well, where's the noise coming from? Everyone likes to point the noises out there. But, you've got a noise intake machine in your pocket, and it will beam all you want right into your freaking being, right? And the problem is the noise that comes through that device is not your choice. Not in a constructive, self-aware way. It's It's made by your reactivity. What you see through social media is created by your reactivity. Every time they elicit a feeling, oh, I like that. Fuck that guy. Why does these guys always putting these smiley faces on these? I hate these guys. Fuck that. You know, oh, wow. So that's not helping, especially if you want to be creative. You may reactively come up with a clever way to arrange words on a sticker or a hat. And sure, there's creative facets to what this is. Reactivity, it can create a purity of pressure that can elicit, you know, great insights in a it's still a reactive thing. So how do I stay basically true to nothing? Okay, true to what wants to happen. How do I stay in that place? Okay, how do I even breach it the first time? Okay, right? I mean, this is what some of these experience altering natural plant substances will do for you. And this current rant is brought to you by Chocolate Thai and Su Tang. So, I mean, really, creativity and manifestation of authentic self in the moment and of the moment is it's a result of self-work. I mean, fundamentally, that's how I take it, how I see it now. That's how I approach my stuckness when I start to become aware of being stuck. And who doesn't feel stuck these days? Is stuck in a nightmare. That seems to get worse every time I open my phone, and I'm imbibing this emotional fucking tempest. And it's activating all my shit, and then I just become a bouncing around agent of chaos. That's not creative. So if you're going to sit down and want to do something creative, your desire is to be creative, the first thing you got to do is get rid of that desire to be creative. Create the space to do it. Or help yourself, manifest a time, something that feels relevant and resonant. But then the desire, this pursuit of being creative, being creatively amazing, so your friends will be impressed, being, you're in your little corner of the world, being, however you're supposed to be what your idea of creative is. That's not going to help all these ideas about what creativity is. So, for me, creativity comes from silence, comes from attempting to find out what's in the way of me being truly quiet and observant. Because perception at that level just reveals the world to you. It just shows you all the stuff that you can't normally perceive of, because there's too much getting in the way with all of your emotionally stored crap. Which crap is a part of, it goes in and it comes out. A lot of us, it goes in, emotional energy gets stuck and it stays. There's crap there, you have to move it out. And to move it out, you probably need some, we need help. We need to help each other. We need to make space for each other. We need to be creative for each other so we can all resonate in ways that make that crap loosen up a little bit. Make our hold on it loosen up a little bit. And make us realize that maybe we don't need that. We don't need to still be afflicted by what installed that. And we can help each other through these dark spaces. And my band has a number called The Crusher, and this was written by me and made by me 90%, a little more. My homie Elder D did a drum track that I chucked on it too, but we the Crusher. When you go through The Crusher, I should really read the whole thing here. It's not long. The track's not long. I think it's 2 minutes. Okay, where is it? I'm gonna stop this, find it, and then turn it back on. This is having gone through the cancer experience. Hopefully I'll have a video out about that. I started making footage for like a part 1 story. But I get challenged with this. Creativity requires vulnerability too. So and vulnerability is what requires you to work on yourself. Okay? You can't be vulnerable if you're all caught and all tight and all rigid. And then when the crusher comes, oh, it's that much worse because you're resisting the fact that sometimes life is just gonna fuck you up. Cancer did that to me and nothing I could do about it. So I went through the crusher, and here's how this goes. When you go through the crusher, you come out with more surface area, less rigid, more distributable. You're not what you were, and yet you are. How finely can you be ground? A whiff of disturbance, and you float into play. Float into play? Either way, in the air you stay, holding space and leaving a trace of cellular level love and grace. So, in spite of what comes and crushes you, unless, it physically removes you from existence in this form, even then, this says that the resonances you created during your time here are still in the air, and they could still be elicited by happenings or a smell or, you're not really gone in that regard. So, the crusher and creativity. I guess there's a little rant for you on the whole thing for me right now. This is probably a 20-minute video if I don't edit it down aggressively, but I've been trying to get myself to do a video like this for a minute. I'll have a little list of ideas that I decided I should write these down in the morning when I have my little what wants to happen today meditation. And I have a tune called Unstuck that I wrote in 2021 in a little spot in my house. I'll put a link to that in the comments. In the head of the comments section below. Boy, I'm new to this YouTube thing. Unstuck. It's a sticky time. I have another tune called Sticky Padding, which is going to be on this album that I really need to finish. Just needs a few more details, really. It's again, I'll put a link below for that one as well. It's in kind of a working space. There's a couple of tweaks I might make to it. I want to put some didgeridoo on one of them. But would love to hear any opinions on the music, and of course, any comments or questions about any of my attempt at giving some perspective on creativity and how I think and feel about it, and how I try to cultivate it, and what it really means to really find rich ground inside yourself through the process of creative pursuit. Yeah, hopefully this was cool and you dig it. And if you like this, let me know. If you don't tell me. I don't want to know. Just kidding. Any tweaks, let me know. I got this camera. This is the Osmo 3, Pocket 3. And I got it set on follow me around. If that's annoying, let me know that. I'm finding it might be annoying if I move around a lot. And I tend to be fidgety when I do this kind of thing, I guess. That 4-year-old is saying, woo, I get to talk right now. And these people are going to listen to me and I'm going to be awesome. And so, but anyway, I really appreciate you checking this out. And let's get into this what is creativity thing if anybody's interested. Let's really have a go. All right, we need it, right? It's additive. It's fundamentally additive to the world if you can create things, and that we need that right now because there's so much of the opposite: destruction, bombs, missiles. Just all right. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.